Idumota in Lagos State. The road had been in deplorable state for over 30 years, despite being an access road to Shagamu local government headquarters.
The road was practically there and what we have now. So, of course, coming into the road like this, we've met even more difficult roads, but we took our time to do our own engagement with the people to exactly know what they want.
Its completion has enabled easy access to Shagamu local government secretariat, Ofin High School, Child Farm, and over 40 communities, including Sakiru Town, and Lalu Town, and others.
In a deplorable condition in the past, but thank God it's been done today. It's a roller coaster for everyone that passes here. And of course, it links Ayepe, which is in Odumbolu local government, a purely agrarian community.
The new ambience is providing room for economic boost, access to farmland, and a healthy environment.
Two benefits: standard of the living of people in Shagam and had economic value to Ogun State, because this place very close to rural area. It will enhance the logistics of the agricultural from the farming to the city.
This infrastructure now, they're going to create jobs for those that are going to be sweeping.
Hello there. Welcome to another edition of Reporters Lounge. You know what we do here. We discuss issues, salient issues, national issues. We analyze, we look at the trendy ones and, you know, discuss way forward. And you just saw the clip there, Governor Dapo Abiodun, while he was inaugurating the Shagamu Ayepe Road yesterday. And, you know, another big one happened yesterday, which we will discuss in the course of this program. We have, you know, topics, headlines, interesting headlines lined up for today. And as usual, I have a guest in the studio this morning, Mr. Dara Adebimpe. As usual, is here in the studio. Good morning, this cold morning.
Well, it's just one of the changing times that we are. You know, everybody has been saying that there is climatic change, except one president that does not believe that there is climatic change. Indeed, Harmattan that we ought to have experienced in November, we are just getting to experience it in almost at the tail end of January. So it's a welcoming development, and I want to welcome viewers to this program again. It's good for us to do it again, analyzing issues affecting not just Nigeria, but the world in general. Yeah,
not just Nigeria, but the world in general. Let's keep it rolling. Let's start from Ogun State. Governor Dapo Abiodun announces President Bola Tinubu's approval for oil drilling in Ogun State. It's a very interesting one. This issue of oil drilling, we have dry ports, you know, proposed, and also the seaport, which, you know, for close to a decade, if not more than a decade, that has been in the pipeline. We've been hearing about it. We've been, they've talked about the depth of the local seaport. We've talked about a lot of things which is deposited in Ogun State. I'm talking about mineral resources. Now the state governor, the governor is saying this is the time, and the president also approved it. According to the governor, he confirmed this yesterday that the president has approved, you know, this drilling in Ogun State. Now, you've over time you've read, you've even written stories about this in the last couple of years. Now, hearing it that the president approval, what comes to mind?
Let me tell you, it's a welcome development. It's just that people are no longer interested in talk shops. We talk too much in Nigeria. People want to see action. And that is why we have become a laughing stock in the global space concerning Nigeria. We are so much blessed, but a lot of our blessings are still buried underneath the ground, which ought to make this nation one of the economic buoyant nations of the world. You see, when you are talking of oil drilling in Ogun State, Tongeji Island being approved, I recall vividly, I've been in Tongeji Island. You know, I used to be the governor's office correspondent for this very station in 1994, when the then military administrator, you know, retired Colonel, now retired Colonel Daniel Akitonde was the military administrator of Ogun State. We toured that area. We were on sea, you know, on boat for more than 45 minutes. So I know how the island is. I've been there. I've written reports concerning it. And that's why I started by saying, enough of talk shop. Let's see the action. A lot of resources are yet buried underneath the ground. And we are crying foul of hunger. We are crying foul of poor economy. We are crying foul that we lack this, we lack that. The earlier, even though some people will say it's getting late, it is better to be late than be delayed. Because right now, once these ones are getting exploited, maybe they will be using the latest technology to do the exploitation. And it will be to the benefit of Nigeria, even much more, when we are looking for an expected reconstitution, or let me put it this way, a devolution of power with the amendment that is going on at the National Assembly concerning certain constitutional issues they want to take, particularly on the issue of revenue allocation. And then coupled with the fact that we have just started this year the new tax reforms. You know, it behoves on states to now be awakened in the real exploitation, you know, of resources within the various states, the various nationals coming up together to exploit what they have on ground to better the economy of their people. And what are we trying to say? Yes, we have Tongeji Island in Ogun State now for exploitation of oil. The eastern part of the state equally has an unexploited, what do you call it now? The largest reserve of this asphalt that they use for bitumen that you use for turning of roads. When you get to Ogun West, it's there. And that is why the issue of export processing zone, Olokola, you know, which has been on the table for years, it's not just now. When I heard you say about a decade, even more than that, when all these things are that are being put on paper, are dusted, and their implementation commence, we will have a better buoyant economy, coupled with the fact that even with the current level that the present administration has taken Ogun State as the economic, the industrial hub of the nation now, you know, it will go a long way to help, rather than depending on what they get from federal allocation every month from Abuja.
Now looking at the issue of, also the issue of dry seaport came up, and you know, I think this will do a lot of benefits to the, you know, Apapa, where you see a lot of congestions and a lot of, I'm looking at the business side of it and the fact that it's going to relieve that side when it comes, and the benefit, the gain. We talk about the idea of Ogun State. We know what it is now, and this, you know, coming. Just like you said, I hope it you know, work starts. There's, you know, funding from the federal government, and also I'm sure the state government is also ready, you know. And when this happens, we will talk about what the Ogun State will now be generating in terms of the revenue. But looking at the issue of Apapa, looking at the issue of you know, the congestion there, the dry seaport, what do you think would also be a relief for Ogun, looking at the approval?
it's an added input to what we have on ground. You know, majority of the problems that we seem to have is the fact that we lack infrastructures. So if you have dry seaport here, coupled with the Gateway International Airport that we have, that's another plus to raise the level of industrial development in Ogun State. And mind you, with the federal government now executing the coastal road from Lagos to Calabar, you can imagine the potentials that one we have. Because I tell you, there is no way that road will not pass through Ogun State. Because there are some portions that before you get to Ondo, you will get to Ogun State. And so it will be a spiral effect of benefit for the dominant communities around those areas. And of course, many ports are likely to spring up along that path that will give relief to the Apapa and the Tinkan Island ports that we have in Lagos. You know, it's a shame that Nigeria, that is over, we are over how many years now? We are over 65 now. We are going 66. We are still relying on 2 ports. Thank God for 2 ports that Tinkan Island that was on in 1973 or so, if I'm right. You know, if not for Tinkan Island that relieved when the cement Amanda happened during the era of Murtala Obasanjo regime, when we had a cement glut, you know, a cement recession, when there was a lack of adequate cement availability for building, for the building industry in Nigeria, that we had to rely on importation, you know, because it was only in Kalagu and the one you call Lafarge, and then it used to be WAPCO, that in Ewekoro here in Ogun State, that were merely doing the production of cement. So there were shortages in the area of cement production in the country. So, but as a result of that, the Tinkan Island formed part of relief for Apapa seaport. So with the dry seaport that you are seeing, and then with the effect of coming on board of the Gateway International Airport at Peru, that the present administration has done, it's an added input to the infrastructure that we have on ground. But my worry is, how do we maintain, sustain, increase? Because we cannot stay where we are. There are others who are still willing, they have what we have, and before you know it, they will surpass. But we should continue to move on. And that is why a lot of people are always looking to the neighboring state, Lagos State, for most of the things. And that's why it is happening that the sleeping giant is waking up in terms of doing the needful for the resources that God has blessed Ogun State, a state that by February return will be 50.
Well, yes, it's a win-win for Ogun State, considering the oil drilling approval, and definitely, just like I said, you know, the IGR of Ogun State is about to, you know, move higher beyond, you know, what we want to say we will really want to envisage. Let's move to the next topic, headline. Governor Seyi Makinde of Oyo State meet President Bola Tinubu in Abuja, and at the meeting, according to report, he told newsmen that that meeting is not political, and he said he's not moving to APC because that is what seems to, you know, when governors, when political gladiators from opposition party visit President Tinubu, and there's no much disclosure. It seems what people read or what people talk about or speculate is that defection is now what you know what is likely to happen. But Governor Seyi Makinde has debunked all those speculations, and he said that meeting is to discuss with the president national issues and the insecurity in the country. The meeting yesterday, you know, it took place. We've seen a lot of reports. We've seen a lot of talks about the report, and some people quoting source, some people quoting the inside. But you know that before now, there's been issue of funding approved by the president to the state governor, and there's been a kind of figure quoted and a lot of things before now. So I would say the relationship between the president and the governor has been, politically there are differences, but national growth, it has been cordial. But yesterday meeting, all eyes were on Governor Seyi Makinde, because it belongs to the other party, and the fact that Wike and even Seyi Makinde are not, the ideology for now is not aligning. What do you bring out of all this, considering that visit yesterday?
You have done a lot of innuendos to the visit. There's nothing anybody will say, given the nature of the politics we play in Nigeria. Even if he has gone there to speak about his family affairs, people will still say he has gone for political matter. But don't forget, even both of them, why are they in public space? Why are they occupying public space? The platform they had to be politics. If they are not taking part in politics, none of them will be in a public space. So whether he has gone for a political meeting with the Tinubu president, or he has gone there to discuss on your state, firstly, you should realize that everything is in the premise of politics. And for Nigerian politicians, the kind of politics we play, tomorrow you can see someone in this party, it is so easy to cross to the other party. And that's why everybody has been alluding to the fact that he had gone there for politics. But he came out to tell reporters that, of course, the issue of Nigeria, the Nigerian project, should be of concern to everybody. The fact remains that President Bola Tinubu remains the #1 citizen of this country, and is the chief driver of whatever Nigeria is today. So everybody, no matter who you are, in one way or the other, you just have to defer to him, not to him as a person, but to the position that he holds. That's what I'm saying. So it is not a big deal for anybody coming from Port Harcourt, or coming from Damaturu, or coming from Diroko to go and see President Tinubu, because firstly, President Tinubu is the president of Nigeria, no matter which party he belongs. Then secondly, you never can rule out the possibility of their talking about politics, because they are all political animals. It's just as when people were trying to speculate what transpired between the two former presidents, military and later civilian president that we had, former President Olusegun Obasanjo, who we were told had a private meeting with the former military president, General Ibrahim Badamasi Babangida, at his Minna residence. When you see all these gladiators meeting together, of course, it is something that people will say that they have come to discuss politics. But the two of them, don't forget, they are presiding over. They are saddled with certain responsibility in terms of giving public governance to certain section of the public. For instance, in respect to President Tinubu, he presides over the country. So every part of Nigeria is his constituency, whether you are in APC, or you are in PDP, or you are in LP, or you are in ADC. No matter the party, is still the one that you defer to when it comes to the issue of Nigeria. But when it comes to politics, yes, you might say it's just because the level of how we practice politics in Nigeria, is becoming unbecoming, because we have put sentiment, childishness into it. In Senate clan, as soon as elections has been won, that the winner has been declared, the loser has known that it is another year for him to go and prepare. Everybody forget about politics. Everybody faces the issue of governance, and that is why in Senate clan you don't have too much distraction, but primordial things seem to govern us, and that's why people will say he's going to discuss the issue of Wike, he's going to discuss the issue of the explosion in Ibadan. I did not take 50 million, I took 30 billion, it's not 50 billion, and he has gone to apologize for what he has said against the president. Well, no matter. Both of them are heads of government. So there is always a meeting point for them to discuss. Well, that's the way I see it.
Well, it is, in the next less than 15 months, we'll be going to the poll. Yes. And, 2026, but by 2027, that will happen. But, a lot of politicians will tell you that, politics or every of the games starts a year, precisely 12 months or before the do you see all this in being part of this meeting? Because even when you are trying to say that you took 30 million, not 50 million, it is like you are trying to play the integrity game, telling people that no, I am a man of integrity. Towards what? To show that you are truly a man of integrity, or to show your scorecard ahead of the next coming election. But by and large, let's talk about this. Defection has been happening in the last 2 years, in the last 3 years, 2-3 years now. We had a governor recently also joined APC, I think this week. Now another one is recently the president. He has come out to say he's not joining the ruling party.
And he's comfortable with PDP.
There are some governors that also said that before now, that at the end of the day, they joined. But do you envisage anything that before 2027 election, maybe Seyi Makinde,
Look, I don't get worried about what is happening within the political climate. I don't get worried. I've had interaction with politicians at various levels. Whatever they do does not surprise me, because they are politicians. I've always been telling people, leave politicking to politicians. The moment you begin to get worried about what they are doing, you will increase your blood pressure, because you don't know what they do until the last minute. In fact, a minute is too much to change the scenario of the political game that we have. And don't forget, no matter whether the INEC, the umpire, has blown the whistle for political engineering or for campaigns to commence for 2027, whatever politicians do, they will always use one thing or the other to do politicking. They cannot take away that from them, because politics is all about winning people to your side, is about numbers. And if you don't have the numbers, you cannot be there. So you never can say, if tomorrow it happens that also it defects, it will not change the cloth that I'm putting on. It will not change the blood pressure concerning me. But the way and manner we see politics now, maybe because of the low level of our intelligence and the exposure that people have had about politics. God has given me grace. Grace is just little grace. I've seen it a little bit in First Republic. I saw it in Second Republic. I saw the aborted Third Republic. When the Fourth Republic started, I was there. So I'm not moved by whatever intrigues or antics that politicians do. I always tell people, wait and see. 5 minutes is too much a time for things to change within the political arena.
Well, 5 minutes is much, and definitely also on this matter, time will also tell. Let's move to the next one, talking about insecurity and also the involvement of international, agencies and nations. United States government presses action. Federal government of Nigeria vows to track bandits, and President Trump is also calling for peace board. Insecurity has been around for a while, and the federal government is now saying that they are accelerated, move to track this bandit. But the United States government is asking for more. That the federal government needs to accelerate on, effort to ensure that, this issue of insecurity is, if not totally eliminated, reduced to the barest minimum. But the U.S. president is also calling for peace board at this particular period, because they believe that it is not only, facing them, guns, exchanging of bullets will only end this matter. Also, sometimes, conflict resolution and also can do a lot of things. Now, with this, let's start from the federal government plan to track the bandits. How effective do you think this will be, and how much of expectation? How much of expectation do you have in terms of this promise, and also how will it help at this level that we have?
No, it's so unfortunate. Even though I don't have much anything, it's still in the realm of allegation, But most people believe that the level that we have found ourselves concerning this issue of terrorism, banditry, kidnapping, or what have you, has been a source of self-inflicted problems concerning Nigeria. And it has done a lot of havoc to our economic well-being. The food shortages that we seem to be passing through, the level of fear that people live in, have been as a result of this development. But however, with the federal government now taking a posture that we want to put this seeming embarrassment that has been simmering for about 16 years now, because it started around 2009, that they want to put an end to it. Even though they can only reduce it, for now, they have to take an holistic measure. And when I say an holistic measure, yes, they have been taking for too long the issue of approval or the issue of agreement among the various subnationals and the federal government on the issue of having state police. This is one step in another direction to arrest the situation, because there are several ungoverned spaces in Nigeria that when you try to fight these bandits in this area, they find opportunity to go to another area, because the boots are not too much on ground. We have the number of police that we seem to be having is about 500, 400. How about the Nigerian army or the military? They are not up to 1 million. So with the porous borders that we have with our neighbors, where these people are coming from, these are major problems. However, with the seeming assistance, cooperation that we are getting from US now, I think we should be heading somewhere. And again, we need, as we are getting US support, we need to press it on US that this issue is not a religious matter. Because I still had Trump, when he was speaking in Davos yesterday, World Economic Forum in Davos, Switzerland, when he was speaking on the inauguration of a peace board that he wanted some people to join, he was still saying, US, we are fighting in Nigeria now to rescue Christians that are daily being killed in that country. Bandits or terrorists are not fighting a particular religion as it were now. So that issue of name calling must be fought must be brought to the attention of the US, that issue is not an issue of Christian and Muslim, so that they will not raise what is happening in Nigeria into religious affairs that we seem to be having in the Middle East for so long a time. Because when you see the issue of religion, when it is raised to the plane of war, it will not be that easy. And then again, I want to encourage the federal government to call on board all the state government. It is not good a thing when the federal government is pursuing a situation of no, we are not going to negotiate. We are going to do whatever is needful for these people, because they have been degrading and destroying our people with the nature of with abandoned recklessness. And therefore, a state, say for instance, Katsina State, they still say they are going to release some apologetic, what do we call it, bandits. You know, they say they are still negotiating with them. Why? You know, and the Minister of Defense says, no, don't do this, we won't do this. These are contradictions. We must be on the same page in order to fight this battle, because of the docility that we have faced in the previous regime, that there was no much war put upon these people. They have had the privilege of entering so many of our government spaces. Now you see they are moving in a way to Oyo. You recall that the reserve park, you know, in Oyo, about 2 weeks ago, we had some people were abducted. Same thing in Kwara State. And before you know it, you will find out that almost every part of the country are now having this. We are just fortunate by His grace that Southwest is still a place that everybody is still referring to as the most peaceful. And I believe that with what they are doing now, the tempo of the attack on this good for nothing people should be hastened, because if you say you are not doing the needful, you fight one day, you take a break another day, these people have taken over.
Well, the issue of releasing of apologetic repentance, just that the way they put it, bandits. You know, we talk about kinetic and non-kinetic approach. Possibly, this is one of our approach that if you come out and, you know, tell us you are not going to do it, well, you know, negotiation, is it not part of
you are talking of stick and carrots. Stick and carrot cannot work again, as we are now. These are a set of people that you have negotiated with, not once, not twice. And this time they had the privilege of taking money. They promised you they won't do anything. And because it is their trade, they use it to amass wealth, to buy, to re-equip sophisticated equipment against their fellow human being. For how long shall we tolerate that?
But, you know, that tells on, we mentioned the capacity of the Nigerian police, the military, but we have state-owned security outfits. We have, you know, we even talk about sophisticated weapons. How does it come in? It's like we are looking at fighting this alone. We are not looking at, also looking at how to man our borders, to ensure that some of these things they use, because if you pay them, even if they abduct people, they tell the family to pay ransom, they will still use the money to get ammunition. And I'm sure that many of these ammunitions is not circulating, is not within the country, possibly from the neighboring countries. So how does it come in? But basically, we have a lot of state security. We have even the one that they will call them
question to us, those state security that you are saying, are they empowered by law to carry arms? These are one of the things we have to review within our security.
But
they have to review.
Part of their work is.
And I've mentioned the issue of boots on ground. What I meant by that is the fact that we have to have more men on ground, as well as deploy technology. Thank God the one that the military are doing now in Timbuktu Triangle, the Lake Chad area now, they are using drones to arrest these people. We need to, intensify the use of latest technology and acquire better ammunition or equipment.
But do you think we are doing well in the area of intelligence gathering? Should be one of the things that some of this state-owned security officials should be doing. Why? Part of their objective, or that was the reason why they were established. When you listen to many state governments or governors talk about, the role of this security office is to provide intelligence for police. Is it that they are not doing, or the police is not making enough use? Because there's still kind of a gap that I'm not
comfortable with.
Nobody's explaining.
Let me just say this: I might not be in a position to assess the level that we seem to have, even in the area of intel, because I'm not in the military, but all what I want to say is this: there are saboteurs. Look at what happened just some few days, maybe about 2 or 3 days in Kaduna, where a number of about 106 or thereabout were again abducted in Kajuru, area. People in their various homes, in a number of villages, they were just taken, abducted by this good-for-nothing element, and we were reliably told that security or surveillance was on up to a particular time, and after some time that security surveillance was withdrawn, and it was the period of that withdrawal that those bad elements used to go and do their havoc in that area. So who gave the instruction? The same thing happened in the Niger situation. The same thing happened in Kebbi. But the question most people have been asking, yes, I'm so sorry to say that this thing has been so much pronounced within the northern side. But we have to, and people are saying, is it not political? We should begin to look at that area too. Because most of the things that we do in this country are likely on political grounds. And that is why I keep on telling people that once we get our politics right in this country, every other thing we get will be in place. Because economy cannot be driven in an unhealthy political environment.
A lot of people also talk about, bringing those financiers into book. I mean, names have been mentioned. We've seen allegedly, some name published that these are those. How many has, people will not ask how many of these people have government really tried? How many have faced, justice if after being tried? But that's another topic for another time. Let's talk about the peace board that the U.S. president is proposing or calling for. What do you think this will achieve?
It's unfortunate that the present leadership in the United States of America is having rough with almost every part of the globe. And I don't know what the Americans are saying concerning him, because he has largely brought America into an isolationist path, in which he's trying to isolate America from the rest of the world. You can imagine, he was saying about 2 weeks ago or a week ago that America is withdrawing from about 66 multilateral organizations in which he paid for. He has withdrawn from USAID, he has withdrawn from UNICEF and all those things. And because he was not giving the Peace Prize last year, he thought probably with his having a peace board that will cover or give consolation to what he wanted to do. And he was even saying that peace board, anybody that wants to join must contribute $1 billion. He invited Putin. Putin rejected him. He has written to Canada. I don't know what Canada has said. He invited Ukraine. Ukraine has responded that it's not interested. UK has responded that it's not interested. It's only some Asian countries that are going along with him in that part. But the issue is it not contradictory to the United Nations? What is he up to? He has only maybe 3 years to go. Politicking will soon come in another 2 years. I don't know to what extent, the Americans will tolerate him, even though from public opinion polls that we had, it is not as if he's having it fine in America too.
Well, I think we have a theme for this topic to show before we move to the next one, but we've really done justice. We've talked here, deliberated more on this, and we still have some time. But let's move to the next topic because of time. Let's talk about the Supreme Court verdict on the trial of Hamza al-Mustafa. Supreme Court of Nigeria dismisses Hamza al-Mustafa's trial in Kudirat Abiola's murder. It's been on for years, and yes, the case has now been put to rest. We have a clip for that as well. Let's watch briefly. We'll be right back.
Advancing religious freedom and security will help the United States and Nigeria to enhance the reciprocal benefits of our relationship, solidifying trade and economic deals, degrading terrorist groups that threaten our interests, and strengthening health responses, among many other areas.
Our counter-terrorism postures and situational awareness across multiple theaters of operation have seen improvements, particularly in the Northeast, under Operation Hadinkai, as well as in the Northwest and Central Nigeria under Operation Fasang Yamma. These engagements have moved decisively beyond dialogue to action. They have supported improved target identification and operational fidelity, strengthen joint planning, and enable more effective disruption of terrorist networks and transnational criminal elements. These efforts have resulted in the neutralization of several hundreds of terrorists like never before.
Sorry for the mix-up. Actually, we can still, the U.S. meeting, U.S. government meeting with the federal government representative, which you saw the security advisor, Nuru Badu, meeting with them. But I think according to reports, it was a very good, fruitful talk, deliberation they had yesterday, and it seems that we are heading somewhere. Looking at, we from some angles, people are saying, do we really need, the international, the foreign countries to help us on this issue of insecurity? But one way or the other, with the body language and the action of the U.S. government, I think, we might say this should end. Maybe not very, very soon, but soon if possible. I don't know if you have a reaction to.
No, it's just in the same line that we have been talking. Yes, federal government has been doing well in recent time concerning fighting the issue of insurgency that has that has affected us for more than 1.5 decades now. You see, it is good a thing that Nigeria has worked it out with U.S. despite the fact that the leadership in U.S. has been fighting on every form of arsenal against many countries, and people have been saying, we don't know how the president has been, making his way with U.S., but it's a good development that we are seeking out for help rather than getting seated at home and relying on the little knowledge that we have. So, and it is not just the meeting of minds with US. It also embraces a platform they call AFRICOM. You know, it's a platform in which the African community, you know, embraces, looks for a way to get empowered in form of security aid from US. You know, that was the platform they used to gather intelligence, even with what the last strike they had in Nigeria, I mean US. So it's a good development, but everything they have sat down to discuss. Let's see how it translates to fruitful dividend for the security or for securing this nation.
That is for the US and the federal government move to end to tackle banditry. We've already talked about the next topic. Let's talk about that trial. It's been on before now for a very long time. Looking at the justice, looking at the time frame. Let's start with the time frame. I know there was a High Court judgment, appeal before we now get to the Supreme Court. Overall, looking at you know, the case and you know, the defense and everything, what comes to mind?
What I see, because for me, these are part of the side effects of the June 12th annulment that followed or that gave platform for the government of late General Sani Abacha to emerge. And Abdul Absalam, you know, was actually his aide-de-camp. And if he's been tried for Kudrat Abiola, don't forget he was working for somebody. Even though the way this woman of virtue, this fighter of democracy was gone down, was better imagined than seen. It was not a good, it was a gory picture of what people should not be seen in public. It is a bad omen. It was a bad omen for Nigeria when it happened in 1995. But the case started in 2014. But the irony why the case was dismissed, because it happened in Lagos. It is the public prosecutor in Lagos State Ministry of Justice that is saddled with the responsibility of prosecuting the case. From what I gathered, I stand to be corrected, they said the Lagos State government was not longer showing interest in the matter. So when the person that ought to prosecute it was no longer showing interest, what do you expect to happen? And of course, the gladiators surrounding this issue, I don't know, is it Al-Mustafa that you want to pick? How do you want to arrive at ensuring that justice was eventually administered? It's not that easy. But I don't know why Lagos State Ministry of Justice was no longer interested as alleged. However, how do we allow this case to continue for that long, since 2014? Look at it. So I think the Supreme Court had no option than to dismiss the case when the interested party were no longer showing any further interest.
Well, I don't let us. Let's look at something else. We need to talk about this. First, dignitaries have been trooping to the house of the Onabanjos. The matriarch died last week, and well, we must talk about it. And also, the state government have been there. Governor Dakwa Abiodun has been there. Mama has been around for, you know, for she spent over 100 years. Now, I know that while alive, you must, one way or the other, have covered, you know, one of events you've met her, or one way. I want to believe you met her. What can you say about her, and even the family?
There is no way you want to speak of Mama Lucia Onabanjo. In fact, he was the umbrella body, he was the main pillar behind Baba, the first civilian governor of the state, Chief Olabiso Onabanjo, who happened to have died a number of years back. You know, incidentally, he was the one who had the vision of OGTV, conceptualized it, and made it one of the major channels that you want to talk of. When people are reviewing newspaper today, it was this station that started newspaper review. When people are talking weekend breakfast, it was this station that started it. There are so many firsts that Onabanjo did. But if he had no pillar at all, it will not be that easy, because he was one man that people will say, he has gone to overseas to go and recharge, because at that material time he was having challenge with his kidney. And this time he had gone overseas, the rest assured, one particular equipment is coming for OGTV. Incidentally, I covered his last campaign when he was seeking re-election in 1983. I was then at OGBC. You know, he was somebody that you can, you know, give respect for in the realm of journalism. I mean, Baba, they call him Ayekoto. His column, one of the longest columns in Nigerian Tribune. You hardly want to miss it. I think it was coming out every Wednesday or so. But Ayekoto, you respect him for the truth. Truth you cannot hear anywhere. Like the parallel snap that Daniel Agbese used to be in the Nigerian Tribune. Wow. You know Daniel Agbese. So Mama had been a great pillar to late Chief Victor Onabanjo, the first civilian governor of Ogun State. And for her to have lived up to 100, I know that everybody was looking for the wife of the late sage Chief Obafemi Awolowo, Mama H.I.D. Awolowo, to have lived up to that level. But just few days to her 100 years, she gave up the ghost. So she has enjoyed life, and she deserves to be given a befitting burial. Wow. You know? And I believe, because in fact, incidentally, one of her children happens to be the chairman of the Ogun State, is it judicial, one of the commissions? The
commission, yes.
Yes. No, so that goes to show that he still has legacies that are left behind, or children that will still carry the banner of what the family is known for.
That's the leadership quality. We say, yes. Mama, may the soul of Mama continue to rest. And that's the show this morning. We thank you for watching this edition. And if you enjoy, join us again next Friday. Until then, enjoy the rest of your day and enjoy your weekend. Bye for now.